Thank you for that very warm applause. It's very kind of you all, but I'm going to cut right to the chase. This is a pivotal moment in the history of our country. In the coming days and weeks, decisions will be made about our national budget that will impact the lives of virtually every American in this country for decades to come. The time is now for the American people to become significantly involved in the debate and not leave it to a small number of people here in Washington. At a time when the wealthiest people and the largest corporations in our country are doing phenomenally well, and in many cases have never had it so good, while the middle class is disappearing and poverty is increasing, it is absolutely imperative that any deficit reduction package that passes this Congress not include the horrendous cuts, the cruel cuts in programs that working people desperately need, that are utilized every day by the elderly, by the sick, by our children, and by the lowest income people in our country, that the Republicans in Congress, dominated by their extreme right-wing ideology, are demanding. America is not about giving tax breaks to billionaires and attacking the most vulnerable people in our country. We must not allow this to happen. In my view, the President of the United States needs to stand with the vast majority of the American people and say no to the Republican leadership and make it clear that enough is enough. No, we will not balance the budget on the backs of the most vulnerable people in this country, on our children, on our seniors, and on the sick. No, we will not do that. Working families in this country have already sacrificed enough in terms of lost jobs, lost wages, lost homes, lost pensions. The working families of this country are hurting right now. Enough is enough. Now is the time to say to the millionaires and the billionaires in this country and to the largest corporations that in many ways have never had it so good that they must participate in deficit reduction, that there must be a shared sacrifice, that deficit reduction cannot be based on cutting back on the needs of working families and the middle class, but that the rich and large corporations have also got to participate in this process. Furthermore, it is absolutely necessary, if we are talking about a sensible deficit reduction package, that we take a hard look at unnecessary and wasteful spending at the Pentagon. Let's make it very clear that we will not be blackmailed again by the Republican leadership in Washington that is threatening to destroy the full faith and credit of the United States government, so that for the very first time in our nation's history, we might not pay the bills we owe. That this is their threat. We will destroy the record of always paying our bills, never failing to do that, unless they get everything they want. Instead of yielding to the incessant, extreme Republican demands, as the President in many respects did in last December's tax cut agreement and this year's spending negotiations, the President has to get out of the Beltway. He has to connect with the needs of working families and ordinary Americans and rally the overwhelming majority of our people who believe that deficit reduction must be based on shared sacrifice, that the wealthy and the powerful and the large corporations cannot continue to get everything they want while they wage a cruel and unprecedented attack on the most vulnerable people in this country. It is time for President Obama to stand with the millions who have already lost their jobs, their homes, their life savings, instead of the millionaires who in many cases have never had it so wonderful.